Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being so patient. To my super chat, I can't do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to talk about the Durham probe special counsel, John Durham, the Sussman trial, and a whole lot of new developments, Robbie Mook, James Baker's testimony from other attorneys within the trial. You want to talk about the Bitcoin and crypto crash, the stock market crash that I predicted in September of 2021. Your super chat is greatly appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. I was published in The Federalist in October of 2021. I started my stock market crash channel in September of 2021. My first segment predicting the stock market crash was on this channel. You can see it in the playlist. And that was in September, early September of 2021. So to my super chat, thank you. I can't do this without you. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about tonight. And thank you so very much, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody here. Hi, Caroline. Hello. Rob. Hello. Everyone here. Thank you so very, very much. Bruce. Hello. Eric, H526, Luke, St. Martin, hello. I hope all is well. And David, let's get started. D-Rock, hello. Hey, Guy, hello. Go Raiders. We have a lot to talk about, and basically, a conviction of Sussman is a certainty if the jurors do their job. I'll issue that caveat because it's DC, and there is a chance that, this is a pretty clear-cut case. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. He's much closer to a conviction now because he has billing records that he's shown the jury. So the jury knows that he billed the Clinton campaign. He billed the Clinton campaign. Okay, it's not rocket science. He billed the Clinton campaign, and he has a text message to James Baker stating that he's going on his own. It's not difficult to convict somebody when they're actually texting, "I'm coming on my own." By the way, according to Fox News, James Baker asked Sussman for a job. This is before he became the Twitter legal counsel, which is hilarious. You can't make this up. And then you have Mark Elias, who turned on his colleague and basically testified against his colleague. You have Robbie Mook saying that Hillary Clinton basically gave a green light and authorized this entire fiasco, or at least the media part of it. And again, none of this, you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, we live in two different worlds. So there's a special counsel. Everything Robert Mueller did, it's Mueller time. They were so happy. See, the thing is, the corruption is on the Democratic Party side. They're the ones who believe that intelligence agencies of an outgoing administration can investigate an incoming president of a different political party. Rinsler! To my super chat, thank you, Rinsler! Do jurors need a logical reason to disagree with the evidence? Or can they say, I don't know, I feel he's innocent just because? I don't think they have to, I haven't been on a jury, and I don't want to be ever on a jury. I don't ever want to be on a jury, but I think that a person can actually say, you know what, I don't think he's innocent. I think that Sussman, Rinsler, Sussman is telling the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone here, Michael Sussman is telling the truth. Okay, Monique, hello. Michael Sussman is telling the truth. James Baker at the Federal Bureau of Investigation knew Sussman was working for Clinton and the DNC. That's okay. Michael Sussman is telling the truth, Rinsler. So, in that respect, the jury can actually. Look, It's a possibility. Acquittal, I think a hung jury could be a greater possibility, but I think a conviction is the most obvious. I think it's likely to be a conviction. I agree too, Vicky. I agree. But I'm saying if there's not a conviction, then it will be because Sussman is actually telling the truth, which will lead to further indictments. If the jury cannot convict Sussman because they believe, if the jury believes, now check this out. Check this out. If the jury believes that Sussman was, well, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation knew. Herschel Ballard! Hello, Herschel! To my super chat, thank you again. Rinsler, Herschel, thank you. If the jury believes Sussman and doesn't believe James Baker or the other bureau official and the other witnesses, and they believe that, and they truly believe that people like James Baker and Comey and Strzok and McCabe, if they think that the Bureau was okay, had no problem with meeting an attorney from the Clinton campaign and Democratic Party and they had no problem accepting, derogatory, fabricated information, and they used that information, that opposition research which was completely fabricated, because there was no secret server communication. This is part of the public relations spin. It was Clinton who had servers with top secret intelligence on them. So if he's not convicted, it will be because the jury thinks the Bureau had no problem meeting with the Clinton campaign and utilizing opposition research which was fabricated to investigate Trump and begin investigations and probes of the Trump campaign and officials around Donald Trump, which is 18 U.S. Code 371. It's not difficult for right now. He can indict James Comey and Clapper and Brennan, and well, I mean, he can indict Peter Strzok or Andrew McCabe easily under 18 U.S. Code 371 with Comey. James Comey and Andrew McCabe could be both indicted, and they could turn on each other. I mean, you see these attorneys turning on each other. With friends like these, who needs enemies? I mean, you literally have the Clinton campaign in 2016 actually testifying for John Durham. Do you understand that, ladies and gentlemen? You actually have Madam Secretary's 2016 campaign literally working with Donald Trump's Durham probe special counsel. And they're doing so because they know they're all in legal jeopardy. They're literally working with the special counsel. And the interesting thing about that is that their philosophy on this as well, we're just going to go ahead. They're not going to really, nobody in D.C. thinks that Durham is going to go for the statutes pertaining to people who conspire. So there's 18 U.S. Code 371. That's the statute. And I wrote in the Federalist, that's the statute that should be used to indict Comey and McCabe. They obviously lied. The Bureau became the Bureau became an extension of the Democratic Party. Then they say, well, Comey wrote the Comey letter. Yeah, because it was a cover-up. Trump Republicans could not ever get away with what Democrats got away with. Then they keep saying, how come Trump hasn't been indicted? He will never be indicted, despite all of Washington, D.C. trying desperately to knock him out of 24. He's never going to be indicted. Now, the only reason Clinton wasn't was because James Comey and the entire organization was an extension of the Democratic Party. The Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, all of late night, Jimmy Kimmel, social media algorithms on Twitter up until recently, an extension of the Democratic Party. That's why we couldn't talk about Hunter's emails. But I mean, there's two tiers of justice. The way Democrats view things is that, oh, well, you know, Trump is a bully, so we can do whatever we want against him, and it's just fine. That's the way they think. I think, though, that there will be a conviction. I don't think it's very difficult. The billing records and the text message alone, in addition to the billing records and the text message, in addition to the testimony, I mean, there's no doubt. It's not rocket science. JG, hello! JG, hello, I hope all is well. It's not rocket science. Okay? This isn't rocket science. He's guilty of that specific. See, the thing is, he gets the conviction of Sussman. Even if he doesn't get the conviction, Stephen! Every time I tell myself the Durham probe will Chief Justice, I have to remind myself that I was found not guilty of Stephen! Okay, yes. That is, and there's a lot of examples also. That's true. I mean, anything can happen. What should happen, Stephen, thank you so very much. What should happen, I mean, the OJ case was unbelievable. I mean, that was, jeez. You go back in, going back in time. Wow. The Ford Bronco moment, that pretty much sealed the deal in terms of when you look back, that is not, that there is something very bizarre about that moment. Very bizarre. And, you know, just very bizarre. Let me see. I mean, I have to go back in time. You go back in time and you look. I mean, the fingerprint specialist says fingerprints specialist says fingerprints not at crime scene. So I'm looking at an old Washington Post. Los Angeles police fingerprint specialist testified today that he examined 17 usable fingerprints, but then none matched the celebrity defendant. Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's like, if you look at DNA evidence on the Wikipedia. So hold on one second. With no witnesses, DNA evidence that was a key physical proof used by the prosecution. 108 exhibits of DNA evidence, including 61 drops of, oh my God. Wow. Due to the abundance and exhaustive validation, the prosecution considered the evidence infallible. However, at this time, the public was unfamiliar with the precision and significance of DNA matching. Okay, so see, I'm trying to look at this right now. So the only physical evidence linking Simpson to the crime was DNA evidence. The volume of DNA evidence was unique, and criminals felt they could reconstruct the crime. Okay, with over 100 exhibits, the defense would have to discredit all of them. And apparently they did. Mistakes made during the evidence collection were highlighted. So there you go. So there you go. I mean, I this is like I haven't even. OJ lost civil trials following that one, as I recall. His lawyer lied and told him not to take his meds so his hands would swell unscrupulous. Wow. Yeah. Rinsler. That's right. Nice. JG. It was on the 405 when OJ drove 550. Wow. JG. Wow. Rinsler, that's right. He lost a civil case and then eventually went to prison. Wow, I mean, it's just, I mean, Rinsler, that's an example of, here's the thing. Celebrity, and you look with the Amber Heard is losing in the court of public opinion. I think because Johnny Depp doesn't, he genuinely looks and seems like a good person. You know, he's not like an Alec Baldwin who blames the person whose life he accidentally ended. It's not like an Alec Baldwin who's like, are you serious? He goes on like, you wouldn't see Johnny Depp go with George Stephanopoulos and like act in the way Alec Baldwin did. But see, I think Rinsler's celebrity adds another element. You know, I have to tell you, I didn't want to believe that OJ was guilty when back 30 years ago, you know, I didn't want to believe that, or 27 years ago now? I didn't want to believe that. I didn't want to believe it. But you know what? Just because you're a celebrity or a billionaire or, you know, that doesn't mean you're not capable of atrocity, you know. Cajun Man, thank you. Welcome to the most intelligent viewer, Cajun Man. Yes, one of the great names in this channel's history. Yes, Cajun Man. JG, I know. JG. JG. She was gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I couldn't believe that. JG. I'm sure she still is. Like celebrity people, like Sussman doesn't have the luxury of celebrity. Phil Spector, no, that's even the Ramones. He did a Ramones album, and the Ramones were like, I remember an interview with Johnny Ramone. I think it was Johnny Ramone talking about how Phil Spector was not right in the head, and you kind of saw that coming. JG. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think that celebrity adds an element, but nobody knew who Michael Sussman was, so, or is. It's a pretty clear-cut, like, look, he'll probably get convicted, and he'll probably get 5-6 months, or a month, or 2 or 3, 4 months. Or they might say, well, there were people in the Mueller probe convicted of lying to the Bureau, and they only got a month. It's like, yeah, but the reason they only got a month is because they didn't have anything to do with they didn't have anything to do with another country installing Trump, which never happened. So they didn't have anything to do with another country installing Trump, and they were set up and framed by an overzealous, like desperate agency trying to find some way to paint to find some way to paint Trump, link Trump in some way, shape, or form. I mean, even Kevin Kleinsmith. See, this is the thing. You have all of these coincidences, all of these bizarre occurrences always help Democrats in every, like with every shape, like in every topic. It's just always, gosh, you know, it's a bizarre coincidence. It just happened. It's just coincidentally that Uranium One gave money to the foundation. Just coincidence. It was a coincidence. Then all of these people gave money to a foundation. All of these people gave money to Hunter, and every single time, millions upon millions of dollars are acquired by Democrats. It's just so interesting how that happens. It's just really interesting. Meanwhile, like, all the coincidences go against Trump. Gosh, what are the chances that a dossier would be used to investigate Trump? Gosh, that's bizarre. That's bizarre. So, Sussman is going to almost certainly get convicted. If he doesn't get convicted, it's not the end of the world. It really, I'm not gonna be happy about it, but it's not the end of the world, because it actually proves that everyone at the Bureau, see, if he doesn't get convicted, then the case for the statutes on people conspiring against the government or people conspiring against the American people, those statutes, 18 U.S. Code 371, those statutes, are relevant. Those statutes are relevant. And think about it this way. If Sussman isn't convicted, it's because the Bureau was willing and more than happy to accept opposition research from Trump's direct political rival and begin investigations on that completely fabricated opposition research. Think about that for a second. If he doesn't get convicted, it will lead to further indictments. You could probably think of it, it's an initial defeat, obviously, but it could be a long-term victory. Obviously, it would be an initial defeat. The Igor Danchenko trial, he doesn't have the luxury of being, from what I understand, an attorney in a DC, powerhouse law firm linked directly to Democrats. So he'll have the system going up against him. See, that's the thing. These people work, like even Robbie Mook, he works for Clinton and he threw her under the bus. Robbie Mook went against Madam Secretary. The Clinton campaign people are now siding with Durham momentarily and turning on Hillary. And that's politics. That's the Democratic Party. It's so corrupt and shady. It's unbelievable. They keep saying, like, I've heard people like, Trump lies so much. He is hyperbolic. And it's like it's like he engages in hyperbole. That's really, like, a lot of the things that he said were spot on accurate. He didn't work with another country. That never ever happened. And yet every single media organization lied through their teeth, said that he was installed by the Kremlin, and what they did is they promoted suspicion. You can't promote suspicion even if it's emails they actually write with their own corrupt fingers. You cannot promote suspicion of Democrats. They have these sacred cows, and you will not make a living if you voice your thoughts. Because they say, oh, well, now, you know what? We've reached a point where, you can't say this or you can't say that, and you can't talk about this. And they've been doing it since 2016. You can't say this, you can't say that, and they've been doing it since 2016. And you will either get suspended or kicked off of platforms. They'll prevent you from earning a living, and that's the only way. That's literally the only way they enforce or they justify their arguments. Democrats generally can't justify their arguments using the logic they utilize against Trump, if you use that same logic against them, they say, oh, you can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. You know, there was an ellipsis. When Trump was impeached, they impeached Trump on an ellipsis. They said, oh, he meant to pressure the president. But the president of that country actually stated, no, that never happened. Trump never pressured me. That wasn't enough. So then you had really smart people in government saying, we disagree. He wanted to investigate mashed potato brains Biden, and he was pressuring another country. Impeach! You couldn't go, you couldn't charge or indict Trump in a court of law with this nonsense. Then they say, well, impeachment is not illegal. Impeachment is not legal. It's do you realize they impeached a president under the belief that because they believed he tried to investigate mashed potato brains Biden, who's corrupt beyond belief? They impeached the president because they think he wanted another country to investigate mashed potato brains when the U.S. government itself was actually investigating mashed potato brains and his son Hunter. Can you believe that? And we didn't know that at the time. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. I have this itch in the middle of my back. Oh, man. Oh. Hunter was literally being investigated by the U.S. government. Literally being investigated by the U.S. government. And Trump was being impeached. And this is the thing, like, oh, democracy. They don't even have a functioning primary. They don't even have a functioning primary. It's not, the Democratic Party doesn't run on meritocracy or policies. They keep on talking about their policies. They have no policies. We don't even have formula for mothers and babies. Our country is descending into madness. Crypto is tanking, like I said it would, unfortunately. The stock market, did I not tell you? Did I not obsess enough? And still I bring it up. People are like, no. I keep saying, I told everybody it's crashing. And then on this channel, H.A. Goodman, it's like, I don't really care. The Durham probe. Let's see what's going on there. It's like, this is the big thing. It's about crashing. I told everybody. We're going to have, unfortunately, a Lehman Brothers moment. Unfortunately. It's only going to get worse, ladies and gentlemen. But do you understand? The average Democrat loves this. They won't. One of my buddies, he's very intelligent, and I try not to. Well, I don't debate politics with friends anymore. I don't have many friends left, but I don't debate politics. But he was like, "Have you seen those job numbers? Really? The job numbers? You mean because the economy was allowed to stay open for more than 3 weeks, and the job numbers eventually went down to where they were before the apoplectic, hysterical maniacs tanked everything? Have you seen the job numbers? Have you seen inflation? Have you seen real wages down 3%? Have you seen interest rates go up? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Which gets us to this. I know, nobody cares. I get it. Nobody cares. Okay. I understand my viewers don't really care. Wasn't really very much into this. I mean, I understood the concept and I understood the macroeconomic perspective because I knew that crypto was going to tank, and I said that in September 2021. I want you to read this with me. Okay? I did a segment, by the way, on the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or below channel. okay, right before this channel, okay, and like you have to just humor me on this. Tether is basically like a crypto bank. It's like the biggest central bank for crypto trading, Bitcoin trading, Ethereum trading. Okay, it's like a central bank where the rationale is because cryptocurrencies are so volatile, when people are trading cryptocurrencies, they put their money in Tether. It's supposed to be a stable coin. A stable coin. It's about as stable as, you know, a half an inch thick, you know, film of ice over a lake. And, you know, if you're 400 pounds, that might not be sufficient to keep you from going into the water. But anyway, so they say that their coin, there's tokens. They have tokens. I think of tokens. I think like you play Miss Pac-Man or like Spy Hunter on in a video game. But so they Terra Luna is a stable coin that went under. It was $100, and then it's now worth less than a cent within a week. Like within a week, unfortunately. I don't say this. I say this with all due respect. I don't say this in any like, why isn't this working? Well, okay. I don't say this with any negative sentiment, but I want to read you this, ladies and gentlemen. I want to read you this, okay? Do you know how Tether creates its stablecoin? First of all, they say it's pegged to the dollar. It's about as pegged to the dollar as like using a tack to hold up a, you know, 70-pound metallic frame, a painting with a 78-pound metallic frame, holding it up with like a little tack. Okay, that's about how strong the peg is. Okay, but anyway, this is how they make their their tokens. I'm not laughing at, believe me. God bless everybody. Invest in cryptocurrencies. I think it's going to go crashing. It's going to continue to crash. Most will be zero. Tether will go bankrupt in my view, and also Coinbase will go bankrupt in my view, and Bitcoin will get to below 10,000. And I don't want that to happen, and I don't revel in this, and I don't say this gleefully, but it is. I am reading it. It's hilarious. How are Tether tokens created? So Tether is supposed to. These tokens are supposed to be worth $1. Okay. These tokens are supposed to be worth $1. Okay. And so this is how they create the Tether tokens are created. So read this by having multiple Tether private authorization keys, sign and broadcast creation transactions on the specific blockchain. Okay, how is that valuable? These new tokens are authorized but not issued. So this is supposed to be, they create a token. They create a token when you put like $100,000. Okay, they'll give you the corresponding amount of tokens that are supposed to be one token equaling a dollar. That's all made up anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I know how it's done. Unfortunately, it's going to go bankrupt. Unfortunately, I don't wish this upon anyone, but this is Bernie Madoff and Enron times 1,000. But here, Tether tokens are created by having multiple Tether private authorization key sign and broadcast creation transactions on the specific blockchain. These new tokens are authorized but not issued, meaning that these USDT are stored in Tether's treasury. And not in circulation until issued in response to market demand. Tether's multi-signature model prevents a single person from issuing a USDT on their own, which would... Okay, so, but what does that even mean? They're making it up. Lou Maldonado! Let's buy stocks, too funny. Lou, hello! Hello, Lou, I hope all is well. Thank you. Lou Maldonado, thank you. Thank you very much, Lou Maldonado. I hope you're having a great Saturday evening. What does this mean? This is nonsense. It's like saying I have, how are you making H.A. Goodman tokens? Well, I have many leprechauns that work for me, and we all, hang out at the edge of a rainbow, and we make the tokens, they pop out of thin air, and we have a big kettle or a pot, and then, we have these gold tokens, and me and the leprechauns, and it's backed actually by 2.9% cash reserves, and why? What's the problem? You don't understand how all this is done? Well, obviously you're not smart enough. This is Enron, and this is like we're seeing Enron right. And by the way, if this goes down, the entire crypto universe goes down. Bitcoin will get way below 10,000, and it will get below 10,000. This will unfortunately go down. I don't want it to. But here, how do Tether tokens protect me from volatility? Because they are anchored or tethered? No, they're not. This is not true. 1-to-1 basis by our reserves. The reserves are not even, only a tiny fraction, 2.9% cash. Are you serious? This is not, Lou, thank you. This is not accurate. Tether tokens are new assets that move across the blockchain just as easily as other digital currencies. Well, so what? That doesn't mean that it's worth anything. You keep on hearing this like, well, these inefficient, the fiat currency is inefficient, and the financial system is so inefficient. This is so efficient. They just basically make up all of this in a way. Everything is fabricated and made up. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like at least Monopoly money. You can use the actual money to stuff your pillow or whatever, or write something. Go to the market tonight. I have to buy popcorn and I have to buy toothpaste. And you can write on the Monopoly money, and there's the value of it. I can't do anything with these tokens. They're completely fabricated and made up. I mean, it's just, this is Enron. This is Bernie Madoff. We're seeing it right now. Okay? We're seeing it right now. Coinbase is the same thing. Although Coinbase is at least it's an exchange, quote unquote, but they confiscate people's money when they want to. There are class action lawsuits now. They just confiscate people's money all the time. Not all the time, but too often. Then they say, well, if they go bankrupt, they can go ahead and confiscate your money. What? It's an exchange. Why would you need that? That's called a Ponzi scheme at that point. Why would you confiscate the money? Charles Schwab is not going under, and if it went under, they couldn't confiscate people's money. They would just you would have to withdraw your money. They would ideally give you enough time to withdraw your money. But Charles Schwab or Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch, they don't make most of their revenue from trading fees. And Coinbase makes the majority, 80 to 90%, through trading fees in crypto. So it's an exchange that makes, exactly, JG. So it's this is all going to crash. Exactly, Sheila. It's all going to crash. And Tether, the Tether has $70 billion. That's more than Bernie Madoff. And but see again, the institutions are going to pull out their money. $1 trillion went into this, and $1 trillion will go out just as fast. $1 trillion within less than a year, and you're seeing hundreds of billions of dollars leave. And Tether is supposed to be, here's the Tether price. So the Dow Jones is tanking, but here, Tether price. Okay. So it's supposed to be 1 USTD, which is a Tether token, or 1 Tether, to $1. But this is not accurate. This is not, I mean, I don't laugh. Believe me, I don't want anyone to lose their money. This is not accurate. This is not accurate. This is imaginary. It went down to 95 cents. Where was it? 5 days ago. It went down. I like how it still stays at $1. It still stays at $1. They even messed with the here. I can't look. It went down to 95 cents. Of course, it would be nice if this little chart worked, but apparently it's actually runs by one of those tokens they make in the Dungeons and Dragons studio. I think one of the Magic users makes the token. I say again, I'm not disrespecting anybody. This Tether thing is like, makes Bernie Madoff and Enron look very honest. It went down last week to 95 cents. Okay, not 90, it went down to 95 cents. Falls to 95 cents here. So I like how the chart is manipulated. Tether token, Tether sank as low as 95 cents. Okay? This thing is going to tank, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a terrible, terrible thing. And I know that, like, my viewers on this chat care, but basically my channel doesn't really care too much, which is fine. I mean, I put my heart and soul in the videos. You know, it's like 3 hours later, 700 views, and like this is the last one prior to this one. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, labor of love. It's not really like I don't want this to happen. I'm not gleeful. I don't have anything against the philosophy. But it's not replacing fiat currency for a number of reasons. Primarily because the human beings, not all the human beings, but many of the human beings within the crypto world are shady and manipulative and basically are like Bernie Madoff and the Enron people. The whole point of the Bitcoin crypto revolution is that you have this new form of money that can't be confiscated. Wrong. Our neighbors to the north confiscated just as much as they wanted to. And it's efficient, and wrong. The volatility is not efficiency. That's inefficient. Inefficient if something is so volatile like that. And then they just make things up. I'm like, well, this is a stable coin. Well, why is this stable coin? Because it's pegged to $1. Can't you read? Can't you even read? It says it's pegged to $1. Well, what does that even mean? Well, we have enough reserves. It's a $70 billion market cap, and we have enough reserves to make sure it doesn't go below $1. And we create these tokens. And you can park all your crypto, park 100,000, 200 grand, park 300,000. Why not? Why not 400,000? Park it in the token, stablecoin token. Joshua Blanco! Joshua! Hello! Thank you! To my super chat, thank you! Just go ahead and park it in Tether. And don't buy the dip. Definitely don't buy the dip. It's like a cavernous. Basically, buying the dip would be like trying to jump over the Grand Canyon. There's the dip that we're looking at. So they're like, Tether is like, well, you can keep your crypto in a very safe, like, middle ground where you can go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to anything you want. And in the, crypto is volatile, but Tether isn't, because it's actually one token to $1. Now, why is it? Because we have reserves. Okay, can't you read? We have the reserves. Well, how much cash do you have? We have enough cash for everything. Okay? Well, when you were forced to admit how much cash you had You had only Steppenwolf! Steppenwolf, hello! Thank you! You only had 2.9% of the reserves in cash. Theoretically, you should have $70 billion in cash. Then they say, well, $7 billion was taken out and it didn't make a dent. It went to 95 cents. They have $70 billion on Tether and $7 billion in withdrawals. When institutions removed $7 billion, it went to 95 cents. So do the math on that. Do the math on that. You're looking at it going to 50 cents or below if like 70 billion is more than that. These institutions, well, Bernie Madoff, the reason that his thing tanked is because institutions wanted to take out 700 million, 800 million. He only had 250 million in cash. He only had 250 million in cash. JG! Tether is backed by him for his acting career, and we all know where that's going. Oh my God, JG! JG! Oh my God. You get the feeling that JG, don't you get the feeling that Johnny Depp, although not stellar perhaps in his relationship, not always on point, really had to deal with a lot when you look at the dynamics there? Could you imagine getting Johnny Depp's, ex-wife angry? Could you imagine what that must be like? It's kind of like Hillary on November 3rd, the evening of November 3rd, 2016. Oh my goodness, she threw the Courvoisier at me. It was like, I'm telling you, it was like Nolan Ryan. It was at least 90, 95, 96 miles per hour. Past the Courvoisier, it was pretty fast. JG. Could you imagine getting her upset with you? Oh. That is not a human being who wants to hear the word no. We're going scuba diving tomorrow, honey. Oh no, it'll start like this. Honey, this is Johnny Depp and his ex. Honey, we're in the Bahamas. I want to go scuba diving tomorrow. Honey, we can't because there's a tsunami warning. I said I want to go scuba diving tomorrow. I don't care about the tsunami. That's basically Steppenwolf. Thank you, Steppenwolf. Thank you. Look into DAI stablecoin backed by MakerDAO on Ethereum. USDC and Tether are not fully decentralized and can freeze your funds. Best stablecoin. Best Buy, I'll look at that. I will look at that. Best Buy, thank you. Steppenwolf, thank you. I'm going to look at that. Okay, so hold on. DAI stablecoin. Okay. See, here's the thing. Best Buy. Here's the thing. And thank you very much, Steppenwolf and Best Buy. Thank you. Here's my issue with not fully decentralized and freeze your funds. There shouldn't be a discussion on freezing funds. I agree with you. I mean, that's DAI stablecoin. So my whole thing is, but see, the thing is, if it doesn't have $6 billion Best Buy, it's a very tough thing. The market cap is $6 billion, right? Even if it's fully decentralized, can't freeze your funds, what happens if it tanks and takes the money? I mean, it could. I mean, who knows what could happen? I mean, my whole thing with if I'll say this: Best Buy and Steppenwolf, thank you again. I think that the entire crypto world is going to tank because of the stock market crash, or it'll exacerbate the stock market crash. Best Buy, thank you. I appreciate that. I will look into that. Steppenwolf, thank you. JG. JG, imagine if you were married to the individual that Johnny Depp was married to, and it was like, honey, want to go skydiving today? Oh, but honey, there's a rainstorm. Did you hear what I said? I have enough stress. We're going skydiving today. But there's a rainstorm, honey. If we go skydiving, we might not make it through in the rainstorm. I said we're going skydiving! That's basically what would take place. I could go on forever. But I'm the only one enjoying this, so I won't. I think that eventually, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see, and to my super chat, thank you so very much. I think you're going to see the entire, and I don't say this with glee, because there's a lot of good people. Like the average crypto investor is probably, I probably have similar views in terms of politics to the average crypto investor, and so like I don't say this like I don't want this to happen. I think it's a terrible thing. I don't want it to happen. But you have two horrible environments. One is the traditional stock market and one is the crypto universe. And both are collapsing. The thing with the traditional market is that we haven't seen a catalyst yet. We haven't seen an AIG or a Lehman Brothers. Okay, we have not seen that. We haven't seen the 2008 type of catalyst. Think about that for a second. We have inflation, we have interest rates going up. Like, the system is slowly imploding because of bad decision making 2 years ago. We should never in a million years have ended the U.S. economy. That was the most absurd, irresponsible, evil thing. Lying dog-faced pony soldier, thank you! Thank you! But I want to just read you, imagine, God forbid, just imagine there's a Lehman Brothers moment in the traditional stock market. Then read this as the Dow, because the Dow is going to get to 25,000. I said to 20,000, but it'll probably get to 25 or below 25,000. Here, how do I know my Tether tokens are secure? Because a magic user and a druid, guard the, Castle Grayskull, and I'm joking, but here, Tether is built on top of the revolutionary and cryptographically secure open blockchain technologies and adheres to strict security and global government laws and regulations. There are no global government laws for blockchain technologies. From what I understand, this is like, it sounds like, no offense to anybody, even, no offense, but it sounds like an 8th grader made this up. I mean, it's like,
Like in your imaginary world, how do you shave all that money of yours? Well, obviously, it's a revolutionary and cryptographically secure open blockchain. I mean, yeah, did you not read what I wrote? It's right here, Johnny. I wrote it. I mean, I try to explain it to you, but you don't understand. But what happens if the magic user uses a spell? But then the druids come and throw seeds that burst into lightning. Again, if you don't want to play and you don't understand, why did you even come over?
All Tether tokens are pegged to a 1-to-1 with matching fiat currency. No, it's not. They don't have matching fiat currency. And maybe tiny percentage matching fiat. The whole thing is to get away from fiat. And then everything good about all of this is like, oh, it's backed by fiat. The whole thing is to get away from dollars. They can't stop saying that it's everything they're doing is backed by dollars. So it's like, Mark, thank you. It's like you have to you have to look, ladies and gentlemen, you have to ask yourself how Tether tokens can be securely stored, sent and received across the blockchain and redeemable for cash. But if they're redeemable for cash, what happens if 10, 20, 30 billion dollars? If institutions want, what percentage of the $70 billion is institutional money? A great percentage, almost certainly. So you have 10 to 30 to 40 billion dollars where they need to redeem this. Imagine what takes place. Imagine what takes place. I mean, think about that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that for a second. If you have a $70 billion monstrosity that is making up tokens, and so imagine that goes down, then Coinbase goes down. Because if Tether goes down, the price of Bitcoin goes down, and people will go ahead and cryptos will, many of them will cease to exist, and then Coinbase, what happens when people just try to get out as quick as possible? Monique Smith, Monique! How are you, Monique? I hope all is well. Thank you, Monique. Thank you so very, very, very much. Thank you, Monique. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday evening. I wasn't going to do this tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I said, you know what? I want to do this because we've had a very interesting week. I think it's only going to get more interesting. I mean, everything that I've been saying, unfortunately, is taking place. But you look, ladies and gentlemen, and Monique, thank you again. I mean, there are 70 billion. This is a $70 billion market cap. And then you have, for example, Coinbase locking people out of class action lawsuits. Where can I use Tether tokens? This is the best one. How are Tether tokens created? Tether token, I say this with all due respect. Tether tokens are created by having multiple Tether private authorization keys. What does that even mean? So Tether tokens are created by the company doing some really awesome things and creating them. But other than that, and then you have, for example, Coinbase. Take crypto. Coinbase warns users could lose their crypto holding if company goes bankrupt. Why would that be the case? Why would this exchange have the right or the ability to take money that it's not you're not giving the exchange the money. The exchange is supposed to be holding it for you to do as you wish with it. And if they go bankrupt, why would they have a right to your money? See, again, that's not what happens. At least banks have FDIC. You have the Great Depression, then you have FDIC insurance. But I mean, Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, all these brokerages, they can't just confiscate your money. Coinbase says its users' crypto assets could become company property if it went bankrupt. Well, that's because, okay, they have to pay off their creditors, but with your money, the company added the disclosure for the first time in its earnings report Tuesday. What? The CEO shortly said that the users' funds were safe and there was no risk of bankruptcy. Of course, there's a risk. They are going to go bankrupt, unfortunately. And this is the thing. The crypto world, and I respect the people. I do respect the people. The philosophy does not live up to like the ideals, or the reality doesn't live up to the idealism. And Monique, thank you again. Thank you so very much. The crypto world has never seen this terrible of an economy. It's only been around since what, around 2010 to 2012. The crypto world has never seen 8 to 9% inflation with interest rates going up, going into a recession, geopolitical nightmares, possible food shortages globally, recession in other countries. Sri Lanka is in dire economic condition. There has never been such a moment for Bitcoin, Ethereum, like cryptocurrencies. And like everything in the modern world, things go up really quickly and really quickly down. Unfortunately. I mean, I find it a bit annoying when I'm speaking to somebody or I'm listening to somebody, they're like, they don't see the difference in certain things. Oh, that's just like this. It's like, no. When it comes to, like, I've watched a lot of the people who are really, like, big proponents of crypto and Bitcoin, digital currencies, and they're like, well, I've seen this before so many times. It's gone up and down and up and down. But you haven't seen this, though, with the stock market crashing because of fundamentals. You've seen flash crashes. Okay, the crash in 2 years ago wasn't really a crash. It was self-induced. It was self-induced. It was a self-induced thing. Okay? You haven't seen this. People haven't seen this. So, like, they just haven't seen, they haven't seen this type of, financial situation. And so here the CEO says, Coinbase, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, says users might lose access to their holdings. I mean, you have Coinbase where you can literally lose all your money if they go bankrupt, which shouldn't happen on an exchange. You're not loaning your money to the exchange. That shouldn't happen. I mean, especially when you had Terra Luna go from 100 to 0, and Bitcoin will unfortunately get... See, Bitcoin is tied to the success of Coinbase and Tether. Bitcoin right now is at like 30,000, and you're getting Coinbase saying, "Oh yeah, well you might lose it all, but yeah, we're not at risk of bankruptcy." And then Tether goes to 95 cents, and they're like, "Oh, it's fully backed, and these tokens are fantastic. You have no clue. These amazing tokens." But this is at 30,000. What's the Nasdaq? See, the Nasdaq's down 30%. It could be down 50, 60% at the end of the year, easily. Easy. Could. Not saying it will necessarily. Could. So it's below 30,000. I mean, just look at this. This is Bitcoin price, okay? It was below 10,000. I mean, it could easily get to 5 or 6,000, easily. I should have started the Bitcoin crash to 6,000. Yvette Moore! Yvette! Another great speech by the VP. I want information about yellow school bus. Great work. Yvette Moore! Thank you, Yvette. I hope all is well, Yvette. Thank you. I hope all is well, Yvette. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you so very, very much, Yvette. Thank you. I know, Miguel, we got to get to 200. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have Yvette. We will have an amazing live stream, and I'll do like a 3-hour live stream. Best Buy! Yvette, thank you. Yvette, so kind of you. You are awesome, Yvette. Thank you. And Monique and everybody here, you're so awesome. Thank you, everybody. Best Buy! Crypto is weird in that we continue to measure its value in dollars. An oxymoron in terms of its original intent to get away from fiat. Exactly. Exactly. I think Best Buy, it's not just that. And Yvette, thank you so very, very much as always. And thank you for being a Patreon also, Yvette. Thank you. I think Best Buy also, the thing is this. The idealism and the philosophy and the principles and the optimism and the vision, that's cool. That's awesome. It's great, you know. I respect that. I don't disrespect that. Jay, hello. They are Steppenwolf. But see, here's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Best Buy and everybody here and Yvette. You have people who, like the Bernie Madoff, Enron type people, the business people, like, you know, it takes a certain personality to create a Terra Luna or Coinbase or Tether. It takes a visionary, but it also takes a Barnum and Bailey type of, you know, marketing genius. That is not supposed to be part of cryptocurrency. It's supposed to be this efficient, you know, new currency that is not susceptible to corruption, and nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. Once you got institutions, see, in my view, Best Buy, everybody here, in my view, what should have taken place with cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, is that there should have been a concerted effort to getting Bitcoin, to get Bitcoin so prevalent or useful that people could buy groceries with it easily. You know, like Bitcoin at like even $6,000-7,000 per coin is very difficult for the average person around. Like storing it on your computer and, you know, having the password and the keys and all that stuff. It's like the average person doesn't want to go through. The average person doesn't want to store $100 to $200 to $300,000 or even $20 anywhere where they can forget the password. Jay, everyone does. Almost everybody does in the country. I agree. See, nobody wants the Best Buy and everybody here. I think that, like, okay, so hold on one second. Man who lost password to Bitcoin. Okay, so Stefan Topp's $220 million password. Okay? So this is a situation, $321 million in Bitcoin, but he can't access it because he lost his password. So there should have been some way, like there should have been some way to address this issue. Also, it's not like you can use cryptocurrencies, like if it was supposed to be an alternative to dollar bills, then there should have been an effort made by the people who, you know, really helped Bitcoin and Ethereum evolve and all of that. There should have been an effort made to allow the average human being to buy groceries or make a mortgage payment or, you know, live life using cryptocurrencies. But there wasn't really that grandiose effort. There was like a lot of emphasis on the technology behind it, but that's like, that was like, there's only so much you can say about amazing technology. Like, okay, it's amazing technology. And also, like, people, oh, Lord, are you serious? Best Buy! Everyone wants to get rich from, it is the problem. We need a universal baseline of value on chain, no fiat reference. Exactly. Except Bitcoin for a gallon of milk. I agree with you. I agree with you. If you could buy a gallon of milk, then if you could buy a gallon of milk with Bitcoin, then I would seriously consider, or like I should say, people would say, yeah, you could buy it right now. If the average person could buy a gallon of milk, or make a car payment, or make a mortgage payment, or buy clothing, or like if the average person Best Buy could live their life using cryptocurrency today, then I would invest in it. And that I wouldn't really care about the crypto crash. Problem with the crypto crash is that who was I listening to? One of the pioneers of Bitcoin, Best Buy and Monique and everybody here, Steppenwolf and Yvette, everybody here to my super chat. Oh Lord. If you could go ahead and live your life utilizing cryptocurrencies, you know, and actually like, make your car payment, that the crash wouldn't mean that much. But what's taking place now is that you're having an entire universe, industry, world pertaining to this collapsing. Like, it's collapsing before our very eyes. Tether is going to collapse, people. And Best Buy, I know that my viewers generally, generally might not be, into this. And, people in their 20s and 30s, I'm not exactly sure. It's interesting because when you're in your 20s, even if you do lose $100,000 or $200,000, you have that youth where you can come back. And, I think that the people who do lose a lot of money, who are young, they'll hopefully like take this lesson and utilize it to make money in the future. Like, I see a lot of people now like, well, this is a great opportunity to buy. It's like, we haven't even reached we're nowhere near the bottom. We're nowhere near the bottom. But, people in their 20s and 30s, if they lose money, even early 40s, you lose a lot of money in crypto, you can come back. You're young enough to rebuild your life. I mean, you're not young enough at any age if you put your mind to it, but see, the S&P 500, this is a huge thing. Exactly. I wouldn't either. JG. Coinbase is going to go under. The whole thing is going to tank. The whole thing is going to tank. And, Just look at the S&P 500, down 18 points. I mean, it'll definitely get below 3,000, the S&P 500. Well, this whole thing right here, I mean, you look at this chart. Look at this chart. This chart from 2020 to 2022 is just $10 trillion pumped into the economy. They did this because of politics. They did this because of politics. I mean, this is going down. This is going down. This is going way down. Could go back up and then down. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And see, again, we haven't seen, like, if and when we have, and I believe we will have, unfortunately, that 1 to 2 day crash that everyone will say, okay, this is a crash that you've been predicting. You'll have that Lehman moment or that AIG moment with traditional companies, with hedge funds. You know, the system is not capable of withstanding a drastic decline within 1 day. I'm not talking about 1,000 points. I'm talking about 2,000 to 5,000 points. That could possibly take place because everything is still overvalued and you have no clue what could set it off. You have companies right now that have far too much debt. They're over leveraged. Casey Martin! Casey! Thank you, Casey! Thank you, Casey Martin. Thank you. Casey Martin, thank you to my super chat. Thank you so much. This is the result of Democrats pushing to end the U.S. economy. And I don't understand why people don't talk about that. Anything that happens past 2 weeks prior to today, 2 weeks ago, it's ancient history. They don't why are we in this mess? We're in this mess because we ended economic activity. We shut down the economy. That's why we're in this mess. We're in this mess because of decisions from politicians who at that moment took advantage of fear and anxiety and hysteria. And Democrats and media up until recently, hopefully Elon Musk will, remove Twitter, rip Twitter away from the Democratic Party completely. And you see his disdain, which is fantastic for the Democratic Party. You see what's going on. Hello, Lars. Hello. You see what's going on. And it's Elon Musk knows that it's only a matter of time. Elon Musk knows it's only a matter of time before Twitter was going to be used against him. And so he acted first. He said, you know what? I'm not going to go ahead and wait. I'm not going to go ahead and wait until Twitter is utilized against me and Tesla and everything I do. So, and they just look, I mean, Bitcoin, so much of Coinbase and Tether and all these behemoths is tied to the rise in Bitcoin price. But it was 2 years ago at 11. But see, the stock market is going to get to where, the corporate profits are going to get to where they were 2 years ago. Which means the stock market will descend to where it was 2 years ago. And Bitcoin will as well. The crash is really going back to where things were in early 2020 or late 2019. We didn't have an actual like we didn't have economic growth. We had central banks pumping money, which is exactly why cryptocurrencies, like that whole thing, the crypto world is there because of the central banks. Jordan B just joined the stream. Not sure if this was already discussed, but if I was Venezuelan, I would rather put my money in Bitcoin versus Venezuelan Bolivar or the Salvadoran peso. Jordan B, not at this point right now, like at this juncture, with Bitcoin, I think getting to 10,000 or below, maybe if Bitcoin is, way below 10,000, I would agree with you. Jordan B, thank you as always. Thank you as always. I mean, the value of those currencies, relative to the dollar is perhaps, not nearly as valuable. The only thing else I'd say is that I don't think anyone in any country right now wants to invest in Bitcoin because it's about 30 grand, 29,000. It's going to get to below 10,000. So if anyone invests now, that it's just going to tank. But Jordan B, I see what you're saying in terms of perhaps long-term value. People say that about the U.S. dollar also in relation to Bitcoin. I don't know even long-term, Jordan B, and I don't know if even long-term that would be the case. Best Buy, thank you, Jordan B, thank you. Best Buy FDIC equivalent for crypto can't exist because its value isn't stable to ensure. Detaching from fiat might be a good thing in the long run. I think that's the whole point of Best Buy. I think that would be the whole point. And Jordan B, I think because there's such an emphasis on these stable coins being backed by a dollar, when they don't have the reserves to peg, quote unquote, that dollar value. Had the crypto universe or world done everything possible, like I said, Best Buy and Jordan B, had the crypto world said, okay, the only way we're going to compete is if the average man or woman gets to buy food for the family, mortgage, like pay the mortgage, through crypto. Like, it's not like you get this, and I understand it's like a nascent, industry, but you get this like, this corporation is now allowing payment in Bitcoin. And it's like, okay, but if Bitcoin is $30,000 per coin, what should happen is that at this point right now, with how overvalued it is, it should be ubiquitous. It should be utilized everywhere. If cryptocurrencies were utilized everywhere, then the crash wouldn't be that big of a deal. Then Coinbase and Tether wouldn't be going out of business soon. In my view, they're going to go out of business. You can't confiscate people's crypto. That's not right. You can't confiscate people's money. For what gives anyone the right to do that? I understand, well, if they go bankrupt, they're going to have to pay certain creditors first, which means that, I don't know, I still don't understand why a person's money in a bank, FDIC covers bank, but it's an exchange. You're not loaning the money to the exchange, so you're not buying a stock that goes to zero. You're just putting the money in an account where Coinbase is allowing you to buy and sell crypto. What right do they have to confiscate your money? The Songbird, thank you. Best Buy. Best Buy, stablecoin is basically like having one foot in, one foot out. Exactly. If crypto is the way we need to commit, I agree with you. Stablecoins will ruin crypto long term. I agree with you. And Tether is going to go. Tether is like, It's basically Terra Luna with more cash. I mean, you'd be like, well, it's not Terra Luna because Luna was an algorithm. Yeah, okay, what's this? Well, this is backed by fiat. Well, how much? They only have 2.9% of their reserves as in cash. So, and Jordan B, thank you as always, Jordan B. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. I mean, Bitcoin will survive almost certainly for a long time. It could eventually get to zero. It'll survive. Ethereum will survive, primarily because people love both. Not because I think that there's like true value in either of them. The value is predicated upon the belief people have in them. And then, like, you know, the debate goes back and forth. Well, there's no true value in a dollar bill. It's like, well, there is. You can go anywhere in the world, and if you needed a water bottle, like in a desert or, you know, a secluded location, you could give $100, $200. Almost certainly, that a person there will give you that water bottle for like $200, $300 or $1. But you couldn't give them a computer and say, here's my laptop. I have $10 million in Bitcoin here. Here it is. It's in there. Here's the key. Here's the password. They're not. They might not believe you, or they'd be like, you know what? I don't have internet access. It's like, or whatever. I can't get. There's no power here. We don't have any electricity. What are you talking about? So, Best Buy, Jordan B. The future, like talking about the future, is intoxicating. Best Buy, Jordan B, everybody here. It's intoxicating, especially if you're an optimist and you're young. If you're in your 20s and you're in even your early 30s, you see all of these things taking place, and the media is hyping it up, and you're like, this will never end. And maybe you were young when the last crash was, but it really didn't affect you. You were young. And so, you know, this is the future. And hunters, hey guy, like, this is the future. And, you know, and you see these people that talk about, you know, how Ethereum was created and Bitcoin, and it's like they talk endlessly about the technology, but it has no application to daily life, or has no correlation to daily life. Maybe you could say here or there, you can buy this in one, like a handful of corporations will allow you to go ahead and use crypto, but it hasn't been adopted by, you know, economies. It hasn't been adopted by, you know, JG, you're right. I mean, here's the thing also. We haven't even, like, the crypto world. This is the crypto world. This is the world that is now, you know, here. I mean, check this out. Look, when this goes down, you'll have hedge funds go under. You'll have crypto will get unfortunately obliterated either on its own or because of the continual downturn. Now, the past 5 years, it's up 48%, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen, how low it goes. The past, you know, if you look, I think it's going to get to below 25,000. And below 25,000, that is, going to be terrible for crypto and terrible for the economy in general. And you'll have probably hedge funds go under because of the derivatives trades, risky derivatives, like Archegos. Best Buy, every dollar is backed by the barrel of. That's why the Fed continues to print without worry. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Absolutely. It's backed by the overall economy too, by the government. I mean, you could say it's backed, yeah, by the full faith and credit of the government, but by our military and by, I mean, yeah, the government. And so there's inherent value. See, I think that Best Buy and everybody here, Jordan B, everybody here, I think people who really got into crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum, they really believe that everyone else, like when you get into a discussion or you hear people talk about like the big players in Bitcoin and Ethereum and cryptocurrencies, they say, well, look at central banks. Look what central banks are doing. They're pumping money and they're devaluing the dollar. And it's like, well, yeah. But there's a lot of, you have to understand, half the population that vote Democrat, they don't care. There's people who want monthly, the universal basic income. They don't care about pumping money and creating money out of thin air. They don't care about that. It doesn't matter to them. People vote Democrat generally because they want the government to solve every problem with higher taxes or more money. They don't care. Casey, hello. They don't care. Like, it's repulsive for a crypto enthusiast or investor to look at what the Federal Reserve has done, and they say, well, my God, $10 trillion or $4 trillion in fiscal stimulus, $6 trillion in monetary, no, $6 trillion in fiscal and $4 trillion in monetary stimulus. That's terrible. That's terrible. But but half the country doesn't care. If you voted for mashed potato brains, you don't care at all. What do you care? Casey Martin! Casey Martin, hello, thank you. They don't care. People don't care. Americans, half of the country does not care if, like, when hedge funds go under, they will want to bail out hedge funds. When banks go under, like, the too big to fail banks will again get bailed out. People do not care about the Fed or the government printing money. They don't care. They don't care. That's I think, a disconnect in terms of the philosophy, and one of the reasons why Bitcoin will get to below 10,000 in the crypto world, Tether will go bankrupt, Coinbase will go bankrupt. The reason is because there are two opposing ideologies or philosophies. The sensibilities of morally superior liberal Democrats, they won't care if trillions more are pumped into the economy. They won't care at all. They want that. So it's very difficult to for me to listen to, like, a lot of the, like, go back now, ladies and gentlemen, when you're bored, Casey and Best Buy and Jordan B and everybody here, Best Buy, Jordan B, Casey, and Best Buy, I think you'll enjoy this. Go and listen to those forums on YouTube, the crypto Bitcoin forums, the Coinbase founder and people who started Tether or Terra. You can hear them talk. Even 6 months ago. Even 6 months ago. Okay? It is like watching the beginning of Jaws. It's like watching someone swim in an ocean towards a dorsal fin. It's like watching someone swim towards a dorsal fin without knowing, because they're talking about the future and they're talking about how cryptocurrencies will be adopted by the economy, and they're talking about the dollar and the Federal Reserve and how inefficient, they talk about inefficiencies. And it's like, yes, Luna, exactly. And it's like, well, that's another thing. People don't care about the inefficiencies. They don't care about the inefficiencies because the one thing a dollar is backed by is itself. The dollar isn't backed by anything else other than the full faith and credit of the government. And it's not like it doesn't need to be pegged to anything. If anything, the dollar does better in relation to other currencies when everything tanks because everybody else wants to flock to the dollar. So you're looking at a situation where the ideology and the philosophy of Bitcoin is eroding. It's the optimism is like, it's like it's evaporating. This is not an optimistic time in American history. The system was made so that a person like Trump couldn't be victorious. Trump defeated Clinton. The system then said media, social media algorithms, everything, government officials, intel agencies will all converge to make sure this orange menace doesn't become president. And that's why I say DeSantis could very well be. The Democrats, there's Ben Shapiro does these TikTok things. There's one woman on TikTok, she can't stand DeSantis, but she was saying Ron DeSantis is the one who's most electable. He's better than Trump. He's more harmful than Trump because he's better and more electable. And it's like Ron DeSantis doesn't elicit that emotion, right? Just like mashed potato brains didn't. Even though it's almost certain that Madam Secretary was going to, But anyway, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Believe me on that. Believe me. I would love that. Or a Clinton DeSantis. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I mean, cash. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I was asked that today by a cousin of mine. And it's like, people say like, well, then what are you going to do with money? Well, but don't lose it. Believe me, it took me a long time to get to this philosophy. Believe me. But you don't have to keep investing in things. There is no hedge to what's taking place now. People say, oh, hedge this. Gold is very high now, so if it goes down, you'll lose a little money. You're not going to really lose a lot of money with gold, but that's the thing. I mean, it's like, cash in a bank is not a bad thing. It's a good thing now. Very good thing. There's deflation also. Unfortunately, you're going to have sales, things 75% off. You'll need that cash. And so, you're going to need that. If you're lucky enough and fortunate enough, or if you've or skilled enough. I don't believe like this whole thing about privilege and privilege. But like, people work hard, You have a good life. Thank God you have a good life. You worked hard for it. Like the way Democrats are, like these people are like they siphon money off of anything possible. They're like the most despicable, duplicitous, if they can do a deal, if Hunter can do a deal with like, the most shadiest characters, Bill too, they'll do it. Then they're like, privilege. Best Buy. I know people who thought you will own nothing and be happy was a Republican talking about. Imagine if they knew what the... yeah. I think that right now, Best Buy, thank you so very much, Best Buy. the best thing to do. Yeah, but inflation, here's the thing with inflation. Obviously, I think that the two most important things are liquidity. Casey Martin, thank you. Best Buy, Casey, thank you. I think the best thing is liquidity and zero risk, which is a bank account. You have FDIC, it's liquid, and it's zero risk. If you want to get in a year from now and the market's bottomed out, do it. I mean, the thing is, like, you see these, like, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not dissing anybody. John Smith! John Smith, thank you! Stay safe and get well at you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. John, thank you. I'm feeling great, thank God, but thank you so very much. John, greatly appreciated. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. John, thank you. John and Best Buy and Casey and Jordan B, everybody here. John, I hear this like, and I'm not trying to get, I don't have any beef with anybody. I'm not going to give you the names of these people. But you see, sometimes on the financial channels, John, and Casey and Jordan B and Best Buy, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not dissing anybody. But I'm telling you, if you listen to certain people, you're going to be out on the streets, God forbid. I'm telling you. So you see these people. And John, thank you again. And they're fantastic. They have very successful, million-plus sub financial channels. And I'm talking about the younger, if a person looks like he graduated high school, and he's telling you investment advice, okay? And I say this, I say this on, like, I was a stockbroker in my 20s. Thank God I was fine generally, thank God. Didn't do anything like, wasn't involved in anything horrible, thank God. Generally did okay with my job. But if you are looking at somebody and they have like a course, an investment course, and they look like they graduated high school, it's not good. And then I listen to some of these channels, and I swear to God, it's wrong. You can go back. At least I was negative for 8 months straight. At least you could say that. John, at least thank you so very much. John, at least you could say I was negative for the past 8 months. And I never wavered. I wasn't like, buy the dip, it's good. No, I was like, horrible, everything's horrible, everything stinks, everything's horrible, everything stinks, everything's horrible, everything stinks. I've told everybody it was horrible. But my God, I'm not going to bring up the name. I will never diss anybody, especially I came out of politics, or I'm in politics now, but I came from the left. All they do is diss and get angry and insult, and oh my God, every day is a beef. Every day is a big beef with somebody. Oh my God. Hi, Caroline. Hello. Yes, Ron. Best Buy. Well, I agree with you, Best Buy. Great minds think alike, Best Buy. My God, Best Buy. My God. Nina, hello. Susan, hello. Hi, Caroline, hello. My God, Best Buy. See, I'm not dissing anybody. I just want to be happy. I don't want to diss anybody. And you know what? God bless them and God bless these people. And they have good channels, whatever. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's mini channels that are like big channels. Some of them are no longer around, actually. There's a couple of them are pretty, like the ones that are in their 30s and 40s, that they look like they're in their 30s or 40s, even if they lost money. I actually listen to some that have had like bad stock picks, but I listen to them because they do have wisdom. So There's a couple of them like I lost everything. I lost a lot of money, but they're in their 40s or so. It looks like, and they still have some wisdom. But my God, Best Buy, great minds think alike. It's unbelievable, John. Thank you, John. Thank you again, John. It's unbelievable. Like, nothing is good in this economy. I remember I was talking to my friend. He's like, Democrat. He's like, have you seen the jobs numbers? That's like on the Titanic as it's sinking. Have you seen the special have you seen the special in the main dining room? It's fantastic. It's good, but it will be underwater in about 30 seconds. Maybe you can get the chef to make you the special, but eat it really quickly before you freeze, and you descend into the water. Best Buy, thank you. John, thank you. Everybody here, thank you. My God, some of the financial channels, it's unbelievable. At least I've been consistent telling people, get out. Get out! Get out of the chopper. Oh, no, go into the chopper. I'm coming out of the chopper. What did he say? Forgot the actual quote. But a lot of these young people, they're like, there's nothing to worry about. Everything's going to be fine. But see, they haven't had their dreams completely pooped upon. And the reason I bring up I'm the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, or the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. Music is great. Oh, so how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Like that type of thing. But get to the chopper. Sushi, love sushi. Is once you've seen that and and it was like, oh my God, they cheated Bernie Sanders, and he said nothing is nothing sacred or holy, and you realize, wow, it's a racket. Oh my God, it's a big racket. Yes, I fell for everything. There was a moment I thought that Comey was impartial. Are you kidding me? I actually thought the Federal Bureau of Investigation was impartial. So it's you realize that, it can actually get worse. Because a lot of the young people are like, everything's fine. If you look at the long term, everything's fine. Well, but not if you look at the long term in the 70s. The 70s were stunk. The 70s, the market did nothing. Exactly. 5280, exactly. In the 70s, the market did nothing. And we now have more debt. National debt is higher than GDP. So I don't know when the last time that was. So, I don't know when the last time that was. So, when was the last time the national debt was greater than GDP? I don't know. You tell me in the chat if you know. That's why, young people, if there's a financial advisor or a person on YouTube who's a really young person, and they're optimistic, or if you're in your 20s or even early 30s and you're optimistic, not good to be too optimistic right now. Buying the dip is not a good thing. If you want to say, dollar cost average all the way down, well, you've been doing it all the way down, but exactly. Kirk, exactly. It's new fiscal territory. We've never been here before. And we have mashed potato brains who's shaking hands with ghosts. We have, this is I don't even say anything bad about mashed potato brains. Do you want to know why? I feel bad for him. Jordan B. At 50 age and have less than 5% of my money in crypto and a firm believer in U.S. first, exactly. But if we can stabilize the economy of those in the south of the border will help us all at the wall issue. Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. That's a great point. Susan, thank you. I agree. I agree. And Jordan B, I agree with you. That would help out a bit, but like right now, I mean, look what's happening in Sri Lanka, Jordan B. Look what's happening in Sri Lanka. My God, the poor people. The poor people in Sri Lanka. Oh my God almighty. Poor people in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka defaults on debt. Oh my God. Sri Lanka has defaulted on its debt for the first time in history as the country struggles with the worst financial crisis in more than 70 years. Wow. It was a preemptive default. Wow. See, I mean, the entire planet is helping the geopolitical situation. The entire planet should help Sri Lanka. I mean, don't you think so? I mean, I think so. Why isn't NATO helping Sri Lanka? You know? And you say, well, there's nothing to do with, other regions of the world. It's like, well, yeah, it does. Ask the people of Libya. NATO destabilized Libya to help its people. Now, why doesn't NATO send billions to Sri Lanka to help it? Why we should, the United States should. I mean, take a little bit of the 40 billion and help this country. Thousands of people looking for gas and petrol. Wow. Wow. Jordan B. The country has run out of fuel. Could you imagine? And then you have these people like, climate change is so important. It's like, yeah, it is important. Anyway, it is important. Fine. Can you stop pontificating for more than 1 second? Where are the billions? Like, the United States of America should give billions of dollars right now to help Sri Lanka. It'll help us in the long term. For a number of reasons. For a number of reasons it'll help us in the long term. Reasons that I can't even really talk about on the YouTube live stream. But we're not going to do that. NATO should also. They already destabilized other countries. They should also. Exactly, JG. Exactly. Exactly. My God. Sri Lanka's new prime minister said on Monday the crisis-hit nation was down to its last day of petrol. Oh my God, as the country's prime minister. Wow. Oh my God. I mean, can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine? Could you imagine? And this all goes back to 2 years ago. And of course, Mashed Potato Brain said he wants to decarbonize the world economy and our economy. Where's John Kerry now? I'm just wondering where John Kerry is. Anyway, God bless the people of Sri Lanka. I think the United States of America should, we have billions and billions and billions to send around the world. We should help. NATO should help Sri Lanka. This is a crisis that affects Western national security interests. I'm not going to get into it on YouTube. But anyway, hit subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I can't thank you all enough. Best Buy, thank you so much. Jordan B. Everybody here, thank you. John, Casey, everyone here, thank you so very, very, very much. JG, Eric, Luke, everyone here, thanks so much. Have a great evening, everybody. Sheila, hello, and thank you. Have a great evening, everyone. God bless you all. See you tomorrow. And please, please, please subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash to 10,000 or below channel. Thanks, everybody. Those channels will be below in the pinned comment. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.